I would like to start by thanking IAP for giving me an opportunity to come to this platform to show my work. And having this opportunity, I would like to show not only my architecture work, but also architecture photography work in the end, briefly. Starting with the architecture, although all the architects have many issues and many aspects of design they carry forward when they are designing, but I would like to focus on these issues, which I'll be explaining through my design in 3 or 4 scales: public scale, architecture, and interior. On planning level, transformability of space, flexibility and multiple usability of spaces, and volumetrically how we deal with our architecture is how we envision it as rather an object rather than something utilitarian. So utility comes in the planning and the interior designing of the project, while volumetrically we prefer architecture to be as an object. Starting with the competitions, we have been doing some competitions lately. First ever competition we did was for IAP House, in which we had our winning entry number 3. Design we conceptualized on the usage of walls to create architecture which was much more slender because of the surroundings. The context was quite narrow, so walls were used to form slender planes, and they held within themselves courtyards and spaces which were quite hefty. This is the plan. These are the walls, the 3 walls which made the whole plan. These are some views. This is how the walls were working. These walls were also demarcating all the spaces so that when a person comes, he doesn't fall short of recognizing where he has to go and all. This is another project that we did for a competition in Woking, England, and this was supposed to be an extension of a museum, rather a summer pavilion for a museum. And surprisingly, the museum in Woking this museum is planned alongside a canal, Basingstoke Canal, and the planning and circulation inside that museum was all along it, so all the circulation was happening parallel to it. What we did was create this extension in such a way that it was placed parallel, but all the orientation was happening perpendicular to it, so giving more importance to the canal. When we started conceptualizing, we wanted the predominance of the canal to be there, so we took inspiration in a floating boat's form, and we conceptualized and architecturally conceptualized it. We took these 5 elements of a boat, a floating volume, tilted deck which was looking towards the canal, and so it caught on it didn't get the glare from the canal, and an anchor, a circulation space which anchors all these floating volumes, and flat sails and diffusers which would diffuse the light coming inside the museum, the exhibition space. This was the plan, how it would work in 4 or 5 layouts. These are some views of this overlooking the canal. So we wanted it to look as if it was part of the canal rather than something which was just looking at it. This is the interior view, how the diffusers are diffusing the light coming inside. This is another project we did for a competition. This is for Pakistan Navy Central Library. It's situated, it was meant to be, it's just a competition. I think nothing, it didn't materialize after that. But what we had envisioned for this was it's placed inside the Maritime Museum at Karsas. So we wanted, at the first time we went to the site, we were quite impressed by all the artifacts placed over there. And a library which had to be placed amongst all those artifacts, we wanted it to be part of it. So actually we want, all those artifacts were so interesting, we wanted them to become the library. So what we did, we morphed all those elements, the artifacts, we morphed them into one building: the ship, the submarine, the watchtowers, 2 watchtowers, suspended bridges, propeller. The planning was skewed, rotated on it after we set it on the site. The decks, there are 2 decks we've used. One is implied. It just heralds the placement of this project. You'll see it later on. And another deck which was an extension of the library, open air library. And the porthole windows, we were quite impressed with porthole windows on these ships and the submarines. These are the plans. This is the ground floor plan. I won't go on explaining it. First floor plan, the rooftop plan. There was a rooftop garden over there. These are some sections and some elevations. We were making the construction drawings all along too. These are all 3Ds. This is the deck that I'm talking about, the implied deck. You'll see it in later on. This is that deck. This is an extension of the library. There was supposed to be a door over here, so we missed it out. This is that part of the submarine. Can I go back and explain it a little bit? This part of the project was supposed to be, this is what we conceptualized the whole of this exercise with. A collage of a submarine sinking in or going in, moving in, and a ship jutting out, and the lighthouse in the middle, anchoring it somehow. So this is how it comes. This is that submarine part, which goes a little bit inside the it's a little bit submerged, so it's a very silent part of the library. And these are those 2 watchtowers, which form the main circulation. You enter from here, you exit from here. And this is that ship part of the project. This is that ship part jutting out from water. This is the submarine part. These are the suspension bridges on all levels. You come here and you can watch all the Maritime Museum from here. And these are 2 watchtowers. There are also some conservatories over here. This is that submarine part, which is a little bit inside the earth. This is that implied. Basically what we wanted to show in this presentation were our renovation projects, because we have been doing many renovations lately, and these are all real projects now from after the competition. This is a house. This was rather a very old house, 60-year-old house, and our young couple clients, they wanted their kids to live this legacy. So they were like, 3 generations have lived in this house, and so we want our kids to also live in this house. So, and they wanted, obviously the parents' family was living on the ground floor, so they wanted an extension on top of this. So this is how, let me show you the old house first. This is the old house, and this is the 3D that we made. And I'll go back and explain the plan a little bit. This is all addition. There was just ground floor over here. So we used 2 terrace courts, and we made the lounge in such a way that it opens up into the courts, 2 courts. So at night, this whole space becomes one and large. And all the rooms are west open. These have wind catchers on top, so if they're not even facing the light or facing the west side, they catch wind from here. Now I'll show the final the pictures of this house. These are the fire. This is how it looks like. And obviously they wanted this house not to look as if it was made in some other time or age. They wanted this to look as if it was made in the 50s. So we acted completely. The form of the house before was also quite interesting. So we didn't want to change it much. So least of a designer's intervention. It was just using the elements already existing. This is all from before. Only this part of the house was a ground plus one from before. This is what we have added, all of this. This is another of our renovation projects. This is currently under construction, and it's much more major renovation than the one that I showed before. This is a 250-yard house in Gulshan, and we have literally flipped the house. The reasons I'll explain now. This is the house, and it faces a park. But this park just got recently built, like 5 years or 4 years back. This house was recently purchased by my clients, and the thing was, the history of this house was very interesting. Actually, this was the elevation of the house, but some 10 or 15 years back, they put a barrier over here. So this is a corner plot. So this became the major elevation of the house, and the problem was this whole house was planned in such a way that all the toilets and all of these spaces were facing the park, and obviously all the insides of the house weren't. This was the house 6 months back. This is the plan of the old house that used to exist here. Toilet, kitchen, toilet, a shop, and the problems of this house were many. It wasn't just this. It wasn't just that pipes were coming on the main elevation. Problems were there was no proper entry. You had to enter directly into the drawing room, and then you had to go inside from all of these spaces. And the other entrance there was on the side. This would feed all the domestic help. So literally, lounge wouldn't exist. On the first floor, also, the only thing good about this house was this. It's not working. The only thing good about it was the this. Was this? The terrace which would overlook the park. So we retained it, and apart from that, we have changed almost everything. So this is what we have come up with. We liberated the elevation from all the pipes. We flipped the whole plan, and we took all the toilets onto the other side, the side which has a common wall with the neighboring house. So what happened, in a way, another thing that happened good was that there was just one attached bath in the original plan. Now every room has an attached bath. There is a separate entrance on the ground floor. Separate entrance on the ground floor, and a separate. I think this will explain much. The green on the ground floor, on the right side, the green path shows the service entrance and service circulation. So the thing is, domestic help comes separately. They don't have anything to do with entering the house and going through the lounge. The toilets we have placed, we have lowered the ceiling of it so that there is cross ventilation in it. There is lots of light in it coming inside. So this is that service circulation from the back of the house. So they don't enter through the lounge anymore, like previously they used to come from here. This is a separate entrance for kind of a foyer corridor, and this is the drawing room. This is a kitchen and all, and this is that. Previously this was the terrace. What we have done, we have like recessed it a little bit so it focuses the park, and there's a study also we have created over here. So this was the house before, and we change it to something like this. and it's almost done. It's just on the final plaster stages. These are some of our residential projects currently under construction. This is a 500-yard project, and this also has a series of courts. The transformability and of spaces is dealt in such a way that the compulsory open space at the back is incorporated inside the rooms. So if you open up these doors, you actually unify the space, the exterior and the interior. There is an interior courtyard. There's one interior courtyard inside. This is the first floor. In this, we have some voids which open. These are the courtyards highlighted. And these are the voids which look below.
Actually, what we were trying to do over here was we were implying our design principles. The basic three things we discussed, the multifunctionality, the flexibility, and transformability. We can see that the courtyards are in such a way that once the doors are closed, you can have a private space, and once it's open, it opens up with a whole new space, which incorporates the interior and the exterior together. So we wanted to imply all our principles into a house in a collaborative way.
Okay, next. These are some of the 3Ds. This is another of our project, 500-yard project, and somehow it, what I was talking about architecture as an object. So this, whenever we start a project, residential project, we start with this in mind that it shouldn't look like a house. But in the end, all the Begumats and the Hazarats, they come and they say, we want a balcony, we want a terrace, and obviously it loses all the thing that we want with our residential projects, that they shouldn't look like houses. It just dies out. But still, this is one of the projects which is currently under construction, and maybe it somehow culminates all these. This is just what we want. This is also from the inside. All those the points that we were talking about, the transformability and how the courtyards come in and they open up into the lounge space. This is the courtyard core. So we have like in the basement. I have sections that I'll show. This a courtyard in the basement on the ground on the ground floor over here, and on top after a double height space. I'll show it in a section. This is the basement. These are the courts. Courts, double heights, atriums. This is how it works. So when you enter into this house, you see this stack of courts, and you're standing in a court. And then when you come here, this lounge merges into this space. This is the longitudinal section. These are some 3Ds. Volumes and planes, that's all. One plane and 3-4 volumes. This is that one plane. These are some last projects. This is a house. This is an addition of an office space on top of a house, existing house. And this was supposed to be just. This is the what happened. This is the plan of the added space, the office space with a court terrace meeting space. These are some interior 3Ds. Furniture design and everything is done by us. This is the only added form, and obviously it was just a box. So we wanted it to keep it simple as possible. So just two windows, a little detailed maybe, and this screen on the terrace. This is these are some photographs. It was kind of hard to take its photographs because there's a very narrow open space in front of it, so thus such angles. This is Conlink's office. They have a stall downstairs also. And the client is sitting here also. This is, I think, the last project I'm showing. This is a recently completed office, medium budget, very medium budget, and young fellas, 25 years old, and he was like he wanted the office to grow as his business grows. So that's why you see it all empty, because only this is all empty. Only these two offices rooms are being used right now. Only these two rooms. And all of this are just partitions. So this was actually just a partition designing job that we did right now. And you'll see the photographs of that. These are 3Ds we gave him. Much before that, he just wanted 2 rooms, but लालच दिया था उनको कि ऐसा बन जाएगा ऑफिस. Otherwise, they weren't even going for the partitions. And this is what they have come up with. It's all they started moving in today. I think they will start moving in today. Furniture design is also done by us. You say it. She wants to say something.
Okay, the next coming up part is the most interesting part, which we love about Sayem. He captures things in such a natural way that we are like, okay, why can't we see it in that way which you see? And that's up next, right after this. His architecture.
The architecture photography. This is La Défense, Paris. This is obviously Frere Hall. This is a project by Icon, Hanif Daud, Tariq Islam Residence, Frere Hall. A project by Fahim Khatri. These photographs are actually not as dark as they appear here. Again, Icon, Hanif Daud's project. Hanif Daud, Tariq Islam, Frere Hall. This is a project by Habib Fidali, Barrett Hoxton School, Fahim Khatri's residence, Maldives, Motta Palace. This is a holiday inn resort, Kanduma Resort in Maldives. Kanduma Resort in Maldives. Kanduma Resort, Maldives. 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 Motta Palace. La Défense. That's it.